First of all, I need to tell you about a documentary you have to put on your radar. Put this documentary on your must-watch list. Go to Just Watch and type in Chop and Steele. This documentary about Joe Pickett and Nick Prueher. These pranksters appear on television shows, creating sort of fake. They pretended to be fake strongmen and appeared on local television shows and did a tour. They also do the Found Footage Festival, if you've ever heard of it. I have attended that event when it's been in Los Angeles. It's absolutely incredible. This documentary about Joe and Nick is so incredibly entertaining. I'm ecstatic that we have them on the show today. Please welcome Joe Pickett and Nick Prueher. Guys, I loved your documentary.
Oh, thank you. Hey, I gotta say, first of all, Chris, like Film Threat is largely responsible for the Found Footage Festival even starting.
How?
Because we did it like 2004, April of 2004, we rented out a place in the Lower East Side, and it was like a 50-seater, and it sold out. It did really well, and we were doing our early stuff, some of our first finds of the Found Footage Festival. And I don't know, I think you had a guy there who saw it and wrote about it in Film Threat. And and it did really well online, and then that gave us the confidence to maybe this is a thing, and we're like, hey, Film Threat's covering it. Let's so we booked a West Coast tour right after that. You guys have always been so kind to us, so we love you guys.
Well, I love your guys' work. It reminds me of I made these 2 tapes that became infamous, called, you may have heard of it, Cathode Fuck and TV Sphincter. I made this when I was in college. I don't know that
one. Was it a mixtape? It was like one of the VHS mixtapes.
It was a mixtape of video, but I had collected, because I worked at a video store at the time, and we did a lot of transfers from 3/4 inch to VHS. So if I ever saw anything really interesting, I would make a copy of it. So I made a copy of this one. It was a McDonald's training film on courtesy. And
really?
It is hysterical. And these 2 tapes, I used to sell them in the back pages of Film Threat, Cathode Fuck and TV Sphincter. They became so famous. A company, and I don't own the rights to any of this stuff. It's just found footage.
Neither do we. We don't own it.
I don't own anything. So they ended up being put out on DVD. I didn't do it. Somebody else did it.
What?
I was selling the VHS tapes. In the 80s. Someone put them out on DVD. And if you go to IMDb, Cathode Fuck and TV Sphincter have their own entries. And if you Google Found Footage, Cathode Fuck, someone wrote an essay about how influential these 2 things were, because I was very on purpose. And at the time I made these tapes, it was just 2 VCRs, going from one to the other. Sorry, we're going to get to your movie in a second.
Take your time. I'd rather talk about this.
So what I did was, one of the things I did was I found every instance that punk rockers were talked about on television, and I sort of spread it throughout. So it was like, punk rockers on the Donahue Show. Who are these punk rockers? And then there was like an episode of Chips where there were these evil punk rockers who had this club. And by the end, they had gotten rid of the evil punk rockers and turned it into a disco. So it was like every instance, it was like on the local news, punk rockers are doing this. And so I kind of put it throughout it. Then I had the McDonald's training film on courtesy, and it was just all weird shit. So look up Cathode Fuck, TV Sphincter. I have the original VHS tapes, and I must have made hundreds, probably over 1,000 copies of it.
You're kidding me. Wow. So this is like pre-TV Carnage. Like you're the pioneer.
Yes.
I feel like there needs to be a documentary done on those VHS mixtapes back then, because every city had one. I remember like Cleveland, we'd go to Cleveland and we'd get the Crazy Dave tape every time the new Crazy Dave tape would come out. And then TV Carnage, of course. But I had no idea that you were the pioneer here. I feel like it's sort of like people would even suggest stuff. You got to do this. TV Sphincter is particularly gross. Cathode Fuck is more like punk rock. And then TV Sphincter, I just sort of, it's gross stuff. I'm not 100% proud of it, but it's on. I can't believe that someone made, not me, someone else made an IMDb entry for Cathode Fuck and TV Sphincter. Is there anywhere we can see this? Can we see it anywhere? Like, is it available?
You said you had a videotape, right?
Hey, we'll re-release it. Under
Yeah.
our banner.
Okay.
Yeah.
After this, can you have your publicist or whatever like email me or get my email address from them? Like I'll send it to you.
Look at
It's
this.
got to go
Business
to a
is getting
home.
done. Business is getting done right now. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. But let's talk about your doc.
Where's Nick? Is Nick here? Nick probably wants to come.
He's having technical issues. He's having technical issues.
He's still
he
got
was
the
here,
dial
and then
up.
I brought him on screen. But okay, Joe, dude, your documentary is hysterical.
Thank you. And before we get into that, though, I do eventually want to circle back and talk about your McDonald's video, because the McDonald's video is what got us started too. And in the documentary, in the documentary, we meet one of the guys from the training video. Spoiler alert, but yeah.
Well, this video is a different one because I grew up, I was in Michigan, right? Detroit. So we get but the other thing was that, this is another weird thing that I'm not proud of all this stuff, but I got to send it to you. So one of my jobs at this video store, I was such an obnoxious smartass. I have not changed. This is when I was a teenager. I lied about my age to work at this video store because I was 16 years old and they had porn and you couldn't work at the video store unless you were over 18. And I said, yeah, I'm over 18. They eventually found out I wasn't. They were like, whatever. We like you. It's fine.
You didn't have to show any ID or anything. It's just like, all right, you look 18-ish.
I mean, this was the early 80s, right? So I'm working at a video store.
That's the Wild West.
And exactly. So, but what I would do was I was a counter jockey, right? So I'm renting videos to people, but someone would ask what's your recommendation for a good comedy? And I would say Pink Flamingos, great movie. John Waters, Baltimore filmmaker. You'll love it. So
accessible, fun for the whole family. Yeah.
Right. So people complained about me because I was constantly recommending movies that they would be upset by.
Where people eat shit in it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, and they're like, all right, but we like you. We'll give you a different job. So my job became transferring people's home movies to video. That was my job. They'd come in with these long reels, transferring home movies. So one of the things I began to notice, these are movies 8mm, everything from the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. And then by the 80s, people had those giant camcorders, that you put over your shoulder that connected with a big wire to a little side thing with the
U-matic or 3/4 inch U-matic,
right?
Those big, huge tapes. Yeah.
Precisely. So I was transferring all these movies. And one of the things people I noticed, they always would film rituals, birthdays, weddings, Christmas Day. One thing that recurred, and I could predict it, people thought I was crazy. I would say, here's a video of Christmas morning, and there would be a boy and a girl, and I'd say, watch. He's going to unwrap that present. I've never seen this video before, this film before. It's running through 16mm. We could transfer any form.
Yeah.
It was it's going to be a gun. And he would unwrap the present, a boy, and it's a gun. Then the girl would unwrap a present, and it was a doll. Every single time.
You could set your watch to it.
So what I did was I started saving those scenes for myself. And in Cathode Fuck, there's a montage. Boy opens a gun, a girl opens a doll. Doll, gun, doll, gun, doll, gun. It was the weirdest thing. I'm like, this is just, it's weird. It was just something. I wasn't trying to make any big social commentary. I'm just notice this.
But I do think that these videos, they say more about us as a culture than the great films of all time. Seeing something like that, it's just we get the boy a gun, we get the girl a doll, and everybody did it. That's fascinating. The other thing was, here's another video that was a recurring thing that I saw more often than not, was a husband surprising his wife by bringing the camera into the bathroom while she's going to the bathroom. Now, there was never any nudity. It wasn't there was nothing graphic about that old gag. Yeah.
But it's okay, I've got a camera. I'm going to surprise her in the bathroom. And this was another thing that recurred. It was just so weird. It's why do people it's like another thing that things that happen all over, but people are not talking about it. They just instinctively do it.
I think home movies are like that too, because people were so excited to get those camcorders,
right?
And then they didn't know what to do with it. They're like, oh, I'm not going to make a movie. I'm going to film kids opening presents. That's what 98% of them are, kids opening up presents. But then sometimes, they're like, oh, we should do something funny. I'll walk in on my wife while she's taking a dump.
Right,
I don't know. they just don't know what to do with it. And a lot of the times you just see them like going to the zoo and like filming everything. It's like, are you going to watch that later? Do you want to see that like
Exactly.
zoom in on a giraffe? Like, are you going to, there's just so much stuff like that. Home movies are the hardest. Like I get excited when I see them because we found some gems over the years.
Yes,
We found some needle in a haystack though. Usually it's really like painfully boring. But Chris, I think it's interesting. Like, I feel like we've had similar career trajectories because like before I did found footage, I worked at a video duplication house where my job was to make copies of people's videos, and also like in industrials too, like safety videos and training videos. Like, this is stuff that you can't get at thrift stores. So that's where my collection really began. And then I'd make an extra copy for myself, and then I did a video mixtape while I was working there because I had all the gear, and I sent it out mostly to my friends, And then Nick was working at a McDonald's, and Nick and I have known each other since we were in like 6th grade. He was working at a McDonald's, and he had to watch a training video for janitors, for custodians, called Inside and Outside Custodial Duties. And he brought it home. And we just watched it constantly. We roomed together in college, and we would have these running commentaries. We would bring over, the neighbors, and we'd be like, "Hey, we got to watch this. We must have watched this movie like 500 times. We got obsessed with it." And then that's all what led to Found Footage Festival starting. And then you guys helped us get out there. So holy shit, we should have talked about this a long time ago.
We should have, for sure. But when I even discovered that the Found Footage Festival existed, I'm like, this is like a festival for me, because I would obsessively watch these things. And the more you watch it, the kind of weirder it gets, because you notice the subtle bad acting. Industrial films are just like, to me, chef's kiss when they're like really bad. Like, these are non-actors. There's a script that some guy in advertising wrote, right? Like, these films.
Yeah. Oh, and that's like, there's one called, it's put out by an insurance company. It's called It Only Takes a Second to Be Safe. And it's just a series of people getting injured over and over again. It's all reenactments, but it's just relentless. It's just people falling off of a forklift, falling off a ladder, slipping on some grease. And that was the first video where I was like, oh, this is something that people need to see. And also, when people would watch that, they'd have to watch it like in a work environment. And then we showed it to an audience one time, and we're like, holy shit, like this, like when you take it out of the context that it's intended for and you put it in a room of people, like the McDonald's video, like this is normally something I have to watch in a smoky break room, and I'm depressed that I have to work this job. But then you get to watch it with a group of people and something magical happens. So I think that's what the magic of the Found Footage Festival really is to take that bullshit that you had to watch by yourself, and now you get to laugh at it with an audience. So
it brings self-awareness to these situations.
Exactly.
It brings self-awareness to these situations.
100%. Yeah, totally.
This is we didn't even introduce ourselves. But Alan Ng, editor of filmthreat.com, and you know me.
I really like the documentary, and one thing that stuck out to me is what do you do with all that comedy money you make?
Oh my god,
you can see behind me. Look at, I'm doing pretty well over here.
I'm going, that's pretty much the state of comedy, is like people loving what they do and not making a single dime out of it.
100%. Yeah, exactly. That's it. Yeah, and I'm just like, when will this love like run out? I don't know. I can't imagine doing anything else.
This doc is so good. I mean, you guys, you tricked your way onto America's Got Talent, which is brilliant. I've seen that show live before.
They invited us.
It's amazing.
They invited us. We didn't tell them what we were going to do when we got on.
You tricked the judges, basically. Yeah.
We tricked the judges once we got on there, and the producers too. Like we told them we were going to do one thing, but then we did another thing. And I don't want to. Let's not spoil it, because that's like a major crux of the movie. Yeah.
It's so good, and the film also goes through. You just have to see this documentary. It's I mean, it starts kind of off with like you and Nick being friends. Nick is trying to get back on here. Let's see if we can get Nick on here. There he is.
We got him.
Nick. We got him. Nick, how's it going, man?
And he's frozen.
Oh no!
That's like Nick's permanent face right there.
There you go.
Concerned. Oh, there we got him.
There we go.
Move your arms, Nick. Move your arms. Let's see what happens.
Can you hear us? I don't know if he can hear us.
I don't.
Oh
think
no.
He can.
That's all good. We'll keep them there. It's great. It's but this documentary, Strong, is it out on like on video on demand right now, right?
Yeah, it's on demand right now. Yeah. If you go to like iTunes and or whatever, Apple, Amazon, all those ones, you can find it. It's easy to find.
So it's really about it's about a lot of things. Your guys' friendship, how you bonded over found footage films, creating the found footage festival, and then creating these characters that you would play on local television, which led to a lawsuit that then you had to fight. And the lawsuit, what's funny is the way that you deal with this lawsuit, and you're thinking like, oh my God, are they going to jail? Are they going to like lose their livelihood? So it's we lost Nick. His internet must not be great.
Yeah,
that's okay. That's okay. You're the spokesperson now for the.
We don't need him. He's just dead. Yeah.
But like, dude, I love this doc. I love docs that tackle like issues of pop culture. There's real stakes in this documentary.
Yeah,
it talks about your lives. Tell us like what led to the doc. I know you didn't direct it, but like, or did you direct it?
No. Ben Steinbauer, the guy who directed Winnebago Man, directed that, and we knew him because we were in Winnebago Man because we played. When I was in Minneapolis,
right?
That's where Winnebago Man was. Well, the original footage for the Winnebago RVs was shot in like rural Minnesota. And there was all Minneapolis crew. And I knew that crew when I worked at the video duplication house. And they're like, you got to see this tape. This is like before it was even uploaded. I was like watching it. I was like, and of course I made a copy for myself. And then Ben tracked down, for people who haven't seen Jack Rebney, the world's angriest RV salesman, you got to look this up right now. Like you're going to hear Sgt. Pepper's for the first time ever. Like this is mwah, this is as good as it gets. And he tracked him down. He's this angry, it was outtakes from this Winnebago RV promotional video. And this guy just goes on these angry tirades and he swears and he's just like, it's almost like poetry. He's so good at swearing. And it was always our show closer in our early shows, like because it was just so good. Well, Ben tracked him down and did a whole documentary about that day. And Ben's really good at like finding the funny part of it, but finding the heart of it too. And it had like, there was some heart to this movie, which surprised me. Anyway, so the end of Winnebago Man is Nick and I up on stage in San Francisco, and we're introducing Jack Rebney to an audience. He didn't even know like people had seen this video before, and he's getting autographs, he's signing autographs, he's getting photos taken with people, and we became fast friends with him. Nick's here. Nick, are you?
You're doing the heavy lifting, huh, Joe?
Yeah, I'm out of breath.
Nick, good to see you, man. We were just talking about Winnebago Man. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. He was like, we thought he would be dead by now, but he was alive and well.
Surprisingly, we thought ulcer, heart attack, something like that. Anyway, so Ben Steinbauer, we met him through that, and then so Nick and I had been doing Found Footage Festival for a long time. Thanks to you, Chris. A big chunk of that is thanks to you. And we were on this West Coast tour, and we realized it was very easy to get on these morning news shows. Like we'd be in Sacramento, and we'd try to get on these morning news shows to promote Found Footage Festival. So we'd get on like Wake Up Sacramento, and we're like, this is so easy. All you have to do is send a press release and say you're going to do something, and they'll have you on. So after a while, after like, I don't know, 6 or 7 years of doing that, we got kind of tired of it because these morning news shows would forget you're coming. They would get your names wrong. We were like, who are we promoting this to? Like farmers? Who's up this early? Like 5 o'clock in the morning? Is anybody actually watching this? So we decided to make our own press release for a fake person just to see if it would work. And I was living in Milwaukee at the time, and my buddy Mark, who we all went to college together. We were there at college together. He and I were in Milwaukee, and he was unemployed at the time. And he was like, let's just do something. So I was like, here's this idea that Nick and I have had cooking. Let's do it. And so we did something called the Kenny Strasser yo-yo extravaganza. So the idea was that we represented a yo-yo artist. We called ourselves Zim Zam Yo-Yos. We sent out a press release saying that we represented a guy who was a yo-yo master who traveled around the country to schools teaching kids about the environment with his yo-yo. And it was a slam goddamn dunk. Like it was like we got Mark got on 7 morning news shows, and he didn't know how to yo-yo either. He had no idea how to yo-yo.
Can't do it.
He's going to be the yo-yo expert. And so then we did another one after that. Nick posed as a celebrity chef called Chef Keith, and the idea was that he was going to make leftovers, like really disgusting leftovers, and then offer them to the news anchors to see if they would actually eat them.
My signature dish was called turbo gravy, and it was all your leftovers put into a blender with like skim milk and chicken, and then made into a smoothie, and the anchors were trying all this stuff. And so we just, like a few years ago, we just decided, well, what's left? What can we do? And we decided to just get as outrageous as possible and pitched ourselves as strongmen. And
I don't know if you can see or not, but I'm not strong. I'm not. I'm doughy.
Is it coming through?
Yeah.
And we said all these outrageous things in the press release. We said we had won America's Got Talent. We always put stuff in so if you did your homework, you could ferret out that this was not real. But nobody did even a second of research, and so we got booked on a dozen stations that wanted this strongman duo called Chop and Steele. And then at one point, one of the news stations, their parent company, didn't find it that funny, and that's when we were served papers and said we were being sued in federal court.
And that was the moment that we called up Ben, because we knew Ben from Winnebago. Ben, it's like, hey, we're getting sued right now. And around the same time, we got a lot of press out of that. That's the upside of getting sued, is that you do get a lot of press. And we got asked to be on America's Got Talent after that happened. And we had this idea for...
Ironically, we said we had won. We had never had no aspirations. And then they said, hey, you guys are getting so much attention for this lawsuit. You actually want to come on our show? So yeah,
it all came full circle. So we're like, yes, we'll go on the show. And then I had this dumb idea for once we got on there. And so I called up Ben immediately. I was like, can you make a documentary about at least this trip to America's Got Talent? And then also we're getting sued in federal court. He's like, I'll be right there. And he came with the camera, and now we have the documentary. So
has Film Threat ever been sued? Have you guys ever?
We've been threatened. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
I've been threatened to be sued, and I don't know. It's people that I usually just say go away, or they didn't like a review. I don't know.
Oh really?
Yeah. Oh really? Yeah. Ask Alan.
Oh yeah.
He gets the brunt of it. Because Alan's the editor of the website.
I don't think anyone's threatened to sue us, but we certainly get I get emails about reviews all the time. And I haggled over a guy because I said it was over 2 hours long, and it was under 2 hours long.
Yeah.
Felt like it was over 2 hours. Hey, there's over 500 people watching us live on YouTube right now. A lot of people in the chat have questions and comments for you both. So would you mind taking some questions from the audience?
Bring them on.
Is it mostly about my internet? Is that the issue?
A lot of comments about your internet.
Sucks. And by the way, I forgot. I actually have Cathode fucking TV Sphincter digital. I can email it to you later today.
Dude, Nick, did you hear any of that about his
I didn't.
Chris is like a pioneer. Chris is a pioneer of the... Yeah.
All right, I'll email it to you. I'll email it to all you guys.
Let's re-release it on Found Footage Festival's banner. Let's do it. Can we?
Yeah, do you want to release it?
Yeah, I want to release it.
All right. We just made a deal now.
Exactly.
Yeah, but look it up. It legit. If you look up Cathode fucking TV Sphincter, people have written articles about these mixtapes. It has its own IMDb, listing, which I had nothing to do with. Other people have released it on DVD, which I had nothing to do with. But it was a mixtape I made in the early '80s, based on stuff because I used to work at a video store and get industrial films. I have a McDonald's training film on Courtesy. It's hysterical. Ooh. It's all local stuff from Detroit. And it's it's definitely a found footage thing. But some of the stuff on it is kind of disturbing. I had one tape, TV Sphincter, I call it the room clearer. And I used to have parties at my old, I had a loft space in downtown. No, I'm serious. I had a loft space in downtown Detroit. I would have parties and people over. And at some point, it's like, it's getting late. You guys should go. I would put on this tape and everyone was so disgusted, they would leave. So I called that one the room clear. So
can we hear what it was? Like, do you want to talk about it, or is it something we should experience for ourselves? I'm fine experiencing it for myself if you don't want to.
You might want to experience it for yourself.
Okay.
It's basically the opening of the video is I had taken like a pan that you would roast a ham in. And I cut a hole in the bottom of it and I put clear like something clear on there, whatever. And I filmed myself taking a shit on so it's the point of view. And I put the camera there, and that was the opening of TV Sphincter.
Wait, but it was your.
I took it. Yes, I did it.
Your anus.
Shit. Yeah,
Wow.
Oh my goodness. So you're credited on the IMDb as being an actor in that then?
Well, I mean, right? I've talked about it before, but like and then it was just like TV Sphincter is just gross shit. It's just all weird, gross stuff. Cathode Fuck is more punk rock stuff.
Yeah.
But I'll send it to you guys. I mean, it's out there, and it's weird that people are writing articles.
I feel like I should call the police right now.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well,
we've built up a high tolerance for gross shit and really out there stuff too. So I think we're the target audience for this.
I'll tell you that
we did
it's just been such an honor to talk to you guys, from having seen the doc, knowing about found footage, and just I didn't know about your friendship, like, and just everything about, like, I love it. I feel like I don't know. I feel like we would get along quite well.
Oh, 100%.
We are right now.
Yeah, totally. No, I remember we chatted one time in the lobby of a theater. It was very brief. I think it was in LA.
Oh,
and
wow.
And we just like got on a subject, and like, I mean, we could talk for hours. So
yeah, I don't know if you covered this joke. I'm on a 14.4 modem, but we used to subscribe to the black and white editions of Film Threat magazine. I still think I have old issues.
I worked at the Onion. I worked at the Onion in the 90s, like when I was 18, like when it was back in Madison, and everybody would bring in copies of Film Threat, and like that's where I learned about it, when I was working at the Onion. And then I would always go to, I think I got it at Borders. I think because I delivered the Onion too, so I would like drop off papers at Borders. I'd pick up the old black and white. Didn't Dan Weber work for Film Threat?
Dan Weber worked for me. He used to write for the Onion.
He's one of the editors.
Out to LA, and then I hired him on a video game magazine, which I was editing, and then also on Film Threat. He was great. I mean, he went on to become a writer at Futurama.
He's hilarious. He's fantastic.
Oh, Dan is great. Yeah.
And he got to start at the Onion and Film Threat. I mean, like, that's where he started his career. I mean, it doesn't get any cooler than that.
Yeah, a lot of people start their career at Film Threat. I can't tell you how many people at Film Threat, and then they go on and go to better jobs where they get paid. So there you go.
We saw Carlos Ramos. Is that his name? Ramos at the Chop and Steele screening in LA recently, and he's the one who wrote the article about found footage, like in 2004, 2005 or something.
Wow.
And we reminisced. Yeah,
that was when Eric Campos was the editor of the site.
Yes.
So yeah, that's cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me. A lot of people in the chat. They're talking. Let me just go to their comments. Imperfect says, "This is the humor the world needs." Graham Robbins, this shit is so punk rock. I love it. Reminds me of my youth.
Yeah.
Geek Truth 64. My question between Joe and Nick: who would be Tucker and who would be Dale if they fought evil?
Ooh.
I don't know. Familiar with that movie, Tucker and Dale?
No, I don't. I'm not familiar. Yeah. See,
I feel like I look more like Alan Tudyk, I think. So I would be, which one is he? Tucker, I think.
Yeah.
I think I would be him. Yeah.
You would be Tucker.
I'll be Dale. Right. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know it. Like, we're not like, I mean, we love movies, but like, we mostly know McDonald's training videos more than anything. So
yeah.
Tucker, Dale, I'll add that to my list.
Phone Punk says there is a lot of authenticity in these found footage films. Most video content is extremely fake. Holy crap, these guys are based, says Alex Gray.
Wait, what's based?
Solomon, based is like common sense, just like regular person.
Yes, okay.
Not like, just like a regular, like normie.
There we
think
go.
It's a compliment.
Yeah.
Solomon, when I think of found footage, I think of the Blair Witch Project. Also, have you guys heard of the back room that were shown on YouTube? Have you heard of that?
Do you know the back room? I don't know.
No. I don't know.
I will say that we started our show in 2004 and been collecting via VHS tapes, special interest tapes, since like 1991. And so when we called our show the Found Footage Festival, it just seemed like, because we found this footage at Goodwill's, and then found footage became a genre after Blair Witch and all that. And so we didn't think of that when we called our show what we called it.
We want to change our name so bad, but we're like 19 years into this. So we're like, we got to kind of keep it, I guess. And also the festival thing, it's a 90-minute show. It's a 90-minute live show. It's not like a weekend festival. We just chose festival because it has an F in it.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah,
Let's
the
see.
documentary spells out that we're not very good business people. I think it does a good job of that.
Let's see. Just watch the Chop and Steele trailer. You guys are hilarious.
Thank you.
You got to watch the
Tactical
movie.
Jack.
I think it's on sale on Vudu right now.
Oh, is it?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
So-
can rent it. I know too. So you don't have to buy it anymore. You can just rent it if you want.
I saw that documentary is really good. The Angry Winnebago Salesman says Bad Adam
Jack
12.
Rebney.
Yes,
Yes.
Winnebago Man was amazing, says Mr. Echo. And what are the legal rights challenges with found footage films, says the Introspect M.
Or I wonder if they're asking about copyright as far as like playing it.
Yeah, like what are any legal challenges?
Well, we've never had them. The only lawsuit we had was from when we were doing these morning news shows, and we never even got threatened before. And everybody that we ever find who makes these videos, you know, after we've been playing them, they're usually ecstatic. They're like, "Oh, this is why I made the video, is so that people could see it." But as far as like fair use goes, everything's under fair use. As long as you take something and you make it transformative into something else, then and you provide commentary or it's a review or something like that, then you can play it. And so we
I
have
should
a copyright
clarify
attorney.
too. I should clarify that none of these are films. They're all VHS tapes, mostly that like would come with a beard trimmer that your dad bought in the 80s, or you know, like it was shrink wrapped in. It would say, "Here's how to use your new wall beard trimmer." That's the genre we're doing. It's not films at all. It's
We're 100%
instructional.
VHS. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have an
instructional
office.
tapes and
Yeah, we have an
things like
office
that.
in Brooklyn with 11,000 VHS tapes, and that's what we're picking through. Yeah.
It just reminds me of the Red Letter Media when they do that show, The Best of the Worst, or they have like the wheel, they spin the wheel, and they're like, there's VHS tapes. I love that Red Letter Media show.
Yeah,
it's so good.
They're Wisconsin guys too. Nick and I are both Wisconsin guys, and those guys are all Wisconsin guys. We've never met them before.
Why have you not like been on their show? It seems like an obvious match.
Introduce us. I don't know. I feel like we never remember like everything is terrible on us. Like we had a big beef like in like 2007. We like hated each other for the longest time, and then we did a versus show, and we're like, oh wait, they're cool dudes, and then we all hit it off, and we're all friends now. I think that when there's like only like 4 entities doing this, we all kind of are hesitant around each other. We're sniffing each other's butts for a little while. And we're like, oh, wait, yeah. And then we realize, oh, they're cool. So I think that's how it is with We're not like butting heads with Red Letter Media. It's just like we haven't reached out and they haven't reached out, you know?
Yeah. But I mean,
we should.
You should be a good match. But also there's a found footage movie. Have you heard of this documentary called Life on the Farm?
Yeah.
Have you heard of that?
We produced it. Yeah. Did you know?
Okay. I'm so stupid. Okay, Life on the Farm. Okay, you guys produced it because you found. That's right. You're in the doc.
Yeah. Everything is terrible.
I contributed to the Kickstarter. I contributed to the Kickstarter.
Thank you.
Yes, and I got my movie.
My man. Dude, yes. Sweet.
I contribute to Kickstarters of movies like it's like I don't care how long. That was it was like less than a year, and you had the movie done.
Those guys are efficient. Like when we met these guys, it was in Milwaukee, and this dude was a British dude came up to us in Milwaukee. He snuck into the green room before we were about to go on stage, and he showed us this video, and our jaws hit the floor, and we're like, "This is incredible!" And he interviewed us for it, and then maybe I don't know, 3 months later, he sent a trailer, and we're like, "Oh, we want on board. Do you need money for this? Because we'll put up some money. We don't have a lot of money, but we'll find money for this documentary." And then that's when we started the Kickstarter around then. And these guys are just like, they're machines. This is their first film, and they're super excited and super efficient. These guys are whip smart, and they made a fantastic goddamn movie, Life on the Farm.
It got a great review on Film Thread too. So.
Oh, did it? Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. For those who haven't seen it, they should watch or read the review. But it's the trailer's online too, and it's about the weirdest home movie we've ever seen. The filmmaker's grandfather passed away, and he inherited a lot of his things, and one of them was a videotape that his eccentric neighbor, this guy named Charles Carson, gave him in the 80s, and it was just this man's video he would make around his farm with his animals, with his elderly parents, and
he was a farmer.
He's
a farmer who learned how to
filmmake.
Yeah, he was a farmer who learned how to make films and edit. And farmers have a very different outlook on life and death than I think the rest of us do. They're a little bit more pragmatic when it comes to, or maybe more I don't know. they're not as like phased by it or grossed out by a cow placenta, maybe. So
you're really
with
selling
death,
the movie here.
Oh, there's stuff.
cow placenta.
Oh my
moves
God,
copies.
I love that doc.
Yeah.
I love that doc. So many more comments here. I'll get through as many as we can. Geek True 64 looks like there is some physical media on the way to Chop and Steele in July.
Woohoo!
Yes.
Yeah.
Blu-ray, DVD, and then God's Perfect Format VHS. It'll be out
Yes,
on all
there you
three
go.
of those.
Oh my God, the comments are crazy here. The trailer was great. Good job, guys.
Thank
the
you.
documentary is so fantastic.
Oh, there's a Pickett. Thomas Pickett. Yes.
Cool.
My last name.
Zodlander, you got Howie in the trailer. You got AGT Howie in the trailer. Brandon Anderson, I'm going to rent this doc, and Chris's doc tonight should be a good Friday. Matthew Hammond for $4.99. Have they considered starting a TV series like American Pickers searching for found footage video? Can we have them on more often? You guys got to come back.
100%. This is
would
fun.
love to.
When you started talking about shitting videos, Chris, like I had a shitting video story ready to go, and I had to stop myself. So I feel like we have a lot of stuff that we can cover in the future. So
all right, yeah,
and yes,
for next time. Yeah.
We have considered an American Pickers style show. We were developing one for a while, and it didn't go through. But I think it would be fun because that's a lot of what we are is like going to Alaska, and we'll find like a thrift store there, and we'll go dig through it and end up finding all these crazy, like an Alaskan exercise video and wanting to know the stories behind them.
There's so much VHS out there right now.
Do you guys have a website? Brandon Anderson asked, can we get a link to these guys' content and doc in the description? Do you have like you could put in the private chat, like, do you have a website people can go to? We'll put it in the link.
I got it right here.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, here you go.
You got a nationwide tour starting in Washington and then immediately to Pennsylvania. So
Are you coming to the Los Angeles area at all?
Oh, definitely.
We'll be back. Yeah.
Yeah, we're working on volume 10 right now. So foundfootagefest.com will get you all that stuff. We're booking the new tour for the fall right now. And we also Driver 23 Film Threat just reviewed Driver 23 documentary from the year 2000 that was just lost, and I reached out to the filmmaker and I was like, you got to put this out again. This movie's so good. So we re-released Driver 23, a documentary that I call the American movie of rock documentaries. Like it's the rock documentary. You've seen Driver 23, I assume. It's
that was a very weird documentary.
I haven't, but I've seen American movie.
Oh, American movie is my number one favorite of all time. But Driver 23 is from around the same era, and it's this guy, like he's a delivery driver by day and a heavy metal guy by night, and he's trying to make a CD. It's fantastic. And we just screened it at Nighthawk in Brooklyn on 35 millimeter, and we put out a Blu-ray under Found Footage Festival banner. So look that one up. So we're touring that right now. It's gonna be in Seattle.
It's great.
I mean, that one is the footage you have for that documentary is amazing.
Did you do the review on that one?
I didn't do the review, but a rock guy loved it.
There's like these oddities. We're trying to branch out. So there's like these odd films. Like there's one from 1989 called Creating Rem Lazar. That was this crazy children's musical that we found in Denver at a friend of ours found on VHS. And we got obsessed with this children's musical. And so we contacted the filmmaker. And we're like, let's put it out on Blu-ray and put it in theaters again.
And
so
VHS.
That's another one. And VHS, of course. So that's another like this crazy like slip through the cracks of time and physical media.
We're trying to resurrect some of these. Yeah, we want to resurrect some of these movies that are completely lost, and like people need to see this stuff.
Well, if you could put the link in the description, Alan, that would be great.
Yeah. There we go.
Nerd far away. We'd get out the camcorder and then just stand there, not moving. Lol. GTP RX says you were both great on Daniel Tosh show. It was great.
Yeah, that was a weird one. They wanted us to come on as like Chop and Steele in character, and we were like, wait a second. We're just like, which we were like, normally we do the character if they don't know that we're a fake thing, but we made
that's the fun part.
That one.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Let's see more comments. Lubitch Touched Me says, is that a collection of tabletop games? If so, what are your top 3 in the background?
Yes, it is. I'm actually over at my buddy Tom's place right now. And yes, we're all big board gamers. My number one favorite is probably Seven Wonders. Nick, what do you got? You got your top 3 handy?
Yeah,
Lords
I
of
like
Waterdeep. Lords of Waterdeep.
That's a good one. I like Scythe. I like Viticulture, and in Chop and Steele, you get to see I made my own board game called Dream Crush that you can find at game stores and dreamcrushgame.com. It's like a throwback to, we were finding these games at thrift stores and like those old 90s slumber party games like Dream Phone, and it's a modern version of that for adults.
Oh, I love it.
My third one would be Skull King. Skull King's my number 3.
Oh yeah,
they should do a film about the old driver's eds video, says the Introspect M. Those are amazing. The one I saw when I was a kid, I've never not worn a seatbelt because I saw this movie when I was like 15. And it's, because there's all those ones that are like gross, right? That just get over the top kind of gore.
Yeah.
This one was I remember because I watched this in Michigan. It was a CHP officer, California guy who just all he did, it's him in a classroom at a chalkboard, and all he does is tell stories of things he's seen. It's so compelling and it's horrifying, and it's just stories. The one story he told, he came upon an accident. Woman wasn't wearing her seatbelt. She was thrown from her vehicle. Her legs were over here. Her body was here. She was still alive, and she was taking her intestines and trying to put them back inside her body, saying, "Will you please help me? Will you please help me?" And then she just passed away. I've never forgotten this story. Saw this movie when I was 15, but walked out of that shell-shocked. Always I've never not worn my seatbelt. I feel awkward in a car without a seatbelt.
And your intestines are intact. So thank you.
I'm good.
It works.
I'm good. But
that would be a good film. Yeah, we found some modern versions on VHS by a company called Federated Mutual. But it's all like on-the-job accident reenactments. I think like the old driver's ed films were actual, like they were actual snuff films back in the day. Now they're
Red Asphalt. That was the one I saw.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's the one that most people saw. But I saw this one, and it was just, and no one else has seen it. No one else has seen that. It was just a guy talking for like 50 minutes. It's weird.
Is there like cutaways to like the kids like horrified in the classroom?
No,
or is it just a guy just standing there? He's probably like smoking a cigarette too. Yeah.
The stories are horrifying because your imagination fills in details. But the Nerd Far Away asks, question for Joe and Nick. Have you seen the AI movie previews done in the style of Wes Anderson? Thoughts? Have you seen those? It's like they're AI where they're like Wes Anderson's Star Wars. And it's
right.
I actually have a whole list. I created a playlist on my personal YouTube where it's just all of those. There's like 50 of them. I keep adding to that list. They're great. I love it.
I think those are cool. And I think that the thing about AI that I always think too is like, I think as that becomes better and better, people are going to clamor more and more for somebody mentioned in a comment, but the authentic stuff that you can just tell, there's still an uncanny valley, but like, that's why I feel like the really like messed up old VHS stuff where people had terrible ideas and it wasn't perfect and polished. I think people will clamor for the authenticity of that more and more as AI blurs the lines of, what's real and what isn't.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of those, but like I'm kind of not that interested. I just feel like it's kind of a parlor trick right now. I don't know. I'll watch them, but like it doesn't do it for me.
Thomas Pickett for 2 says, ask about the birthing video by a highway patrol.
Oh, have you seen sudden birth before?
I haven't. I have not.
Today's the day. You're going to be a changed man. You guys are both.
You
got to watch Sudden Birth. So
is it on YouTube?
I'm sure it is. It probably is.
My
you
God.
can probably find it somewhere, or archive.org or something. We'll probably have it.
Okay, we got to exchange an email, or maybe put your email in the private chat. I'll send you. I'll send you Cathode fucking TV Sphincter.
Yes.
I'll send you. I actually think you would really like. There's a documentary I've been working on for 10 years. I'm trying to finish. It's about Film Threat. It's called Film Threat Sucks. And it's about Film Threat in the 80s and 90s, the rise and fall of the print magazine. And
you talk to Dan Weber.
I know I got to get it. Almost we interviewed everyone from the 90s.
Yeah.
Dan's not in the doc, unfortunately.
Okay.
But a lot of people
are. Edit it?
No, we have a cut. It's like 90 minutes.
You do? Oh, I want to see this.
Would you guys give me notes if I said, because we're trying to
Absolutely.
we're going to submit the Sundance in September, but I'm trying to get it locked, and I want people to see it who've never seen it.
Yes, send it. Send it.
Okay. We have a lot. I'll send you guys a lot of stuff after this. Let's get emails in the private chat. Emails. Another super chat here. Guys, we've had 3 ads during the live stream today. Wanted to let you all know. Love the channel. Thank you for your great work. Greatly appreciated. From Brandon Anderson. 5. 3 ads? Are we doing mid ads
in the live stream? Is that what they're saying?
Is that 3 ads during the? Well, usually there's an ad at the beginning or the end, but like, hey, if it's annoying,
the replays are usually ads.
But the replays they add ads. Hey, I'm sorry, Brandon. I don't know if the ads are annoying. Let me know. All I can say is this: I'm sick of the ads on the Film Threat website. They annoy me. And it's I own the website and it annoys me.
I know. Yeah. Like, we're always torn with that. We're like with found footage, and we do a show on Tuesday nights called VCR Party, where we're trying to watch all 11,000 of our VHS tapes. But we're always just like, oh, should we get advertising? Like, should we do that, or should we just like be broke all the time? So far, we've just been broke all the time, just because it's so annoying to watch that stuff, and we hate it too. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I mean, you got to pay the bills still, but you know.
Yeah, what can you do?
Yeah.
But guys, the documentary is fantastic. If everyone watching, almost 500 people right now, you need to rent or purchase Chop and Steele this weekend. Trust me, it's before you guys came on, we were having a whole rant conversation about running times.
Yeah.
Like movies north of 2 hours. What is this with Hollywood? Little Mermaid is 2 hours and 15 minutes. It doesn't need a movie for little kids. Little kids are getting bored and antsy at about the 90-minute mark. It's just Hollywood doesn't know how to make a movie that's just under 2 hours.
I will watch a pile of shit movie if it's 72 minutes. I don't care what the title is. Yeah. I don't care what the movie's about. I see 72 minutes, done. I'm watching it.
Chop and Steele is under 90, and Life on the Farm is like 75, I think. So those you can watch both of those back to back as a double bill tonight if you want.
You would think that, and I just released a documentary called Attack of the Doc. I don't know if you ever remember G4 TV or Attack of the Show.
Yes, I heard about this documentary. I didn't know that you.
We were on Attack of the Show.
I was on the show, so
yeah.
You were on the show, like as a host on the show?
I was I was on the show. I did a segment called DVD Tuesday, which was reviews of movies on DVD. And I would always I'd have to review like the latest Transformers movie, fine. But I would always sneak in like Poultrygeist from Troma or something. You know what I mean? Like I would sneak in like indie movies and weird stuff. So I was on that show for like 8 years. And so, and I made a documentary about the show. And I'll send you the trailer if you like it.
Somebody else just told me about that movie a few weeks ago. Yeah, I had no idea that it was you.
I made it.
Oh,
I didn't know either. I remember you on that show, Chris, and we were on that show once too. I remember we were playing some home shopping footage that I believe Kevin really liked, John and Johnny.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you were on that particular thing. Maybe it was a pre-taped thing. But yeah, we were in the studio and we're on that once. And yeah, I used to watch it all the time. And when I was searching for Chop and Steele and Life on the Farm, which they came out, I think 2 weeks ago on like Apple and everything. And I was going through the carousel of what's new. And I saw Attack the Doc on there right next to Chop and Steele. So I guess we came out on the same day or something. But
yeah, April 24th is when I think it came out on VOD. So
yeah, same.
That's great. Wow.
Nice. We're doc pals.
We're doc pals. And I kickstarted the Life on the Farm. I mean, I love that stuff. And I always forget like it's like, it'll be 3-4 years from now, because documentaries can take a long time.
Oh, but, you never know where they're going. That's the thing. With Chop and Steele, we had no idea how this was going to end. You know, like when the pandemic happened, we're like, what? I guess this movie's like dead in the water. But
it's cool because you kept filming through the pandemic stuff, so it was great.
Yeah.
Oh God,
I love great job. Yeah.
Great. Hey, I guess. Well, are we have more questions in the chat? I think we went through all the questions for you guys. So wewill wrap up for today.
Sweet.
I got your emails. Expect an email from me after. I'm going to send you a link. I'll send you. I think it's like just over a gig. So whatever, I'll have to upload to Google Drive or whatever. Cathode fucking TV sphincter. I'll send it to you, Alan, too.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
And when you guys are in LA, I'll definitely be out there.
And then
Nice.
are you going to have an LA show or maybe San Diego or sometime here? Like,
yeah, we
definitely
played in Highland Park. We play at the Lodge Room. This cool old, like, I think it was a Masonic lodge, and
They used
Like
to
an Elks Lodge or something. Yeah, it's like
an Elks
something.
Lodge. It's really fun. Yeah, we usually play like rock clubs. Sometimes we'll play movie theaters or like Largo in LA. So yeah, we'll be back probably September, October.
Oh, that's perfect. I'll have to get on. Do you have an email? I'm sure you have an email list on your website.
Oh,
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah,
yep.
you can subscribe.
Yeah.
there.
What's the website, Alan? You found it?
It's I had it here. It's
foundfootagefest.com.
foundfootagefest.com.
Foundfootagefest.com. All right. I'm gonna go to it. Gentlemen, God, well, I could keep going, but
I know.
I mean, I was ready to pounce on you gave me the opening for the shit story on video, and I was ready to pounce on that. Let's save it for another day. We have
let's save it for another day.
Yeah,
we'll have you guys back. Oh, okay. When the Found Footage Festival comes to LA, come on the show before that to promote it.
Yes.
Perfect. Love it.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. So, and you'll have my email after this.
It will just, we'll deal directly with you, and the publicist be damned. There we go.
Yeah.
And audience, you'll have to wait for the shitting story. We're teasing it. There's a great shitting.
Oh my God.
Story, but you're gonna have to wait till the fall. So
we got in trouble for playing a shitting video one time. So we'll tell that next time.
Please tell that story.
It showed the poop coming out and everything.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Just more of a teaser here.
This has been such a great, more like a hanging out. Like, I feel like the only thing missing is a couple of beers. So,
I've been drinking beer this whole time. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Cool. Hey, so great. We have no more comments in the chat. No. Okay.
Sweet.
Yes. Wait. Cody Lipschitz.
Oh,
for $9.99. Just sends in a super chat.
I hope that's his real last name too.
Yeah, I hope it is as well. And thank you to our mod today, Lord Thoth. Good job. Thank you to Ms. P. Coffee. And thank you to you guys. Foundfootagefest.com is the website. We could show I'll just show you in a self-indulgent way some of the dumb videos that we play on the show. Not good enough for like Found Footage Fest, but just like this is real. We asked a guy who's a fan of the show, asked AI to write a rap song using keywords, and this is what they came up with.
Okay.
Chris and Alan, they're critics you can't trust. With honesty like 69, they never adjust. Their opinions are like bullets, they always go bang. Their words hit like a hammer, leaving haters like Kane.
Oh, AI wrote that?
AI wrote it and performed it based on keywords.
Honestly, not terrible. Not terrible.
That's what I thought.
Maybe I should. Maybe I should stop shitting on AI. Maybe I should come around to it. I don't know.
But here's an example. Like a few weeks ago, we found a fan club video from Jason Hervey, who played Wayne on the Wonder Years, the older brother, and was in Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and had a cameo in Monster Squad and everything.
Character actors through the 80s.
Always played
90s.
a brat. And so he did a video for fans that you could send away from. And in the video, he and who else? Ryan Lambert, another child actor he was friends with, do a rap that is so off tempo, so wonderfully terrible.
Yeah.
And this is in 1988.
But
AI
earnest and earnest too. Yeah.
Yes. So AI will never be able to duplicate that level of terrible earnestness of Jason Hervey and Ryan Lambert, sincerely believing they can be rappers.
Oh my God!
Hi, Dad, I miss you.
That's Alan's daughter. She's in Vegas right now. She's in Vegas. I gotta say, this sounds weird, but I'm a little disappointed to learn that you are friends with and get along with the people from Everything Is Terrible, because it would make such a great documentary of all these rival groups who hate each other. And they just, and all their, like your found footage and everything is just those guys.
Oh, there's all this drama. There used to be drama with that. Like I should have filmed it back then, because they would talk shit about us at their live shows. They'd be like,
oh no!
They'd be like, and if you like found footage festival, we're gonna stab you or something like that. I remember like seeing a video where they like threaten the audience if you like found footage, if they like us, found footage festival, they're gonna stab them. And then we started hating them, and then like we had this. And then somebody said like, oh, let's set up this like versus show. It was somewhere in Washington D.C. and we were gonna show our clips, and then they'd show their clips, and then the audience would vote. And for whatever it's worth, we destroyed them, but we became pals after that. We realized, oh wait, these are cool dudes, and they like cool shit too. And then like it was just like with us right now, like we just talked all night long. We had so much to talk about. So
I think
anyway.
in any sort of nerd subculture, whether it's films or I don't know, board games or whatever, there's all this weird gatekeeping, and then everybody realizes we all just like the same stuff. I mean, we should be friends.
No, we're all like cats. We're all like cats, kind of hissing at each other and like swatting at each other. Like, yeah, we're a bunch of cats.
But we all like the same stuff.
It's so weird, but like I was in a rivalry with Mike White, who did he did a zine around the same time as Film Threat called Cashier Do Cinemart. Then he created the Projection Booth, which is a great podcast. We finally met, and it was just like, God, we just like the same stuff. We're like, and so we just became fast friends. Whenever I go to Detroit, we hang out, and it's just like, why did we not like each other then?
We got to sniff each other's butts. That's what it is. And
it doesn't make any sense.
I'm making dog references and cat references. So we gotta. Yeah.
Cody Lipschitz is back.
Oh,
real last name 999 says, "What's the deal with the Schwarzenegger Rio video?"
Oh, boy.
Yeah, that's
Nick,
a video that. Yeah, I found that. I was working at the Letterman show, and I found that one, and we play it on the show when he was running for governor. And it's this video he did, I guess, for the Playboy channel in the early 80s. And he was just Mr. Olympia or whatever he was at the time, Mr. Universe. He wasn't in Terminator yet. So they sent him over to Rio during Carnival and hired like what looks to be a Brazilian escort for him and just said, go nuts. And boy, does he. He is grabbing everything.
He's very grabby.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and this was all out there, and it didn't affect him being elected twice as governor at all. But yeah, so it's a video where he seductively feeds a woman a carrot at one point. So we have it on VHS. It was a regular on our first touring.
I think it was at our Volume 1 tour when we did the California tour. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, look that one up. So, it's a classic.
Yeah, I feel like we could hang out all day and chat, but I'm sure you have board games to get to.
I just ran out of beer. I got to get more beer. Yeah.
I got to get more beer.
Yeah.
All right.
But yes, definitely. We want to come back.
So you're going to be back to promote the Found Footage Festival
this
like
fall.
in a couple months, like, or whatever's a good time. You'll have my email after this. Just please come back. We'll promote that.
We can bring some clips. We could bring some clips too. We could bring some clips.
Oh!
We just scored. Have you ever seen that dating video with all the dudes? It was like from I think like 87. They all have like this pink background and they're trying to like woo potential mates in this like
no
put it out
video
like
dating services, right?
Have you seen that?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like the video dating service. I tracked down the guy who created that, and he told me I have the women's version of it where women are trying to he sent it to me last week on Betamax, and it's so good, and it hasn't seen the light of day yet, so we're gonna feature that. Maybe we'll bring that on this fall and we can play it on this.
We can play clips.
Yeah,
if you send us videos, or we can share screen or whatever, we can play clips to promote the festival.
That'd be an exclusive. Yeah, that would be huge.
Yes.
Like, we just got that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys are coming back.
All right.
We're gonna
be rolling in that comedy money.
Yeah, exactly.
It should get here any day.
The shows always sell out, right? I mean, for the most part, they sell out completely.
Yeah, it depends on where we play. We used to play too many shows, and those wouldn't always like Sioux Falls. Where's Sioux Falls? Iowa,
South Dakota.
Yeah, that one wouldn't always sell out, but we'd get like 14 cool people there. But yes, the LA ones will sell out. New York ones sell out. Yeah, all the big cities. Chicago always sells out. Yeah.
Well, we did a 50-state tour, and we learned that there's probably 13 states we don't need to tour in. You know, we could just hit the major ones.
Yeah, they don't teach you that in school, so you got to learn that for yourself.
Yeah. But gentlemen, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Alan. Yeah,
this is great.
Super
you
fun.
will be
Come
back.
hang.
Look for an email from me later this afternoon.
Can't wait.
I cannot
All
wait.
right.
You might find some gems in Cathode Fuck, the McDonald's training film.
That
Chef's
alone.
kiss.
That alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm happy that we got some business done here this afternoon.
Yeah, look at this. We
Yeah.
interview, we talk business, we're gonna have you back, shit stories. We really have like gone through the gamut.
We ticked so many boxes this afternoon.
Oh my god. Oh, this
We'll
is
be
great.
millionaires next year. That's
It's one of these days.
Come
the
on.
ship's gonna come in. Yeah.
There
Any
we go.
second.
But thank you for being on the
All
show.
right.
This is great. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
everybody.
Joe, Nick,
Guys,
so great.
Thanks,
We're
Chris.
friends
Thanks,
now.
Alan.
We're
we're
friends.
friends. Yes.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I love it.
Yahoo.
Hey guys.